Well, it's been a week since two massive earthquakes struck Turkey and Syria, killing tens of thousands of people. And there's a growing belief that number will just go up. And as the search for survivors continues for now, criminal charges are actually being handed out. For people living in southeast Turkey and northwest Syria, it's been a historically tragic week. Both countries are estimating that at least 36,000 people have been killed and 70,000 people injured by a pair of powerful earthquakes and aftershocks.
It was the worst event in 100 years in this region.
This is like 450 kilometers long earthquake. And they didn't only had one, they had two. And many of the buildings that collapsed also, they didn't collapse on the two earthquakes, but they collapsed on the aftershocks. So what we are seeing is obviously one of the biggest events we had in the last century.
At the same time, survivors defying the odds are still being found beneath the rubble 7 days after they were buried alive. But rescuers aren't expecting to see much more of this. Reports on the ground share a sense that the search efforts are coming to an end. The focus is slowly turning to protecting those who did survive as temperatures drop to near freezing at night. However, international support, particularly for the Syrian people, is lacking. The UN Secretary General for Humanitarian Affairs tweeting yesterday, quote, "We have so far failed the people in northwest Syria. They rightly feel abandoned, looking for international help that hasn't arrived. My duty and our obligation is to correct this failure as fast as we can. That's my focus now." Meanwhile, in Turkey, the government is wondering if the devastation could have been prevented with better built towers. Turkey's vice president saying Saturday that arrest warrants have been issued for 131 people suspected of being responsible for the collapsed buildings. All right, and a sign that the earthquake crosses political lines, the United Nations says Syria's president has agreed to open 2 new crossing points from Turkey to rebel-held northwest Syria to deliver aid to those affected by the earthquakes.